Hello there, fellow train buffs, fellow modelers, fellow guys and girls, girls and guy model railroaders all over the world. It's your old buddy Lionel Strang, and you're asking yourself, what's happening today? Today is January 31st, 2019. I'm always saying that I don't like to date the podcast, but sometimes I just have to. I think some of my ideas don't really pan out. Seeing as how I have no idea what we're doing, or I'm doing, is really what I should say. Anyways, today is the second. Tonight we're having the second live stream event that we've ever had on the old AML network at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. You go to YouTube, look up a Modeler's Life YouTube page. Let me just double check this. I'm going to double check this right now as we speak. I'm going to look and see what it's Modeler's Life. It's a Modeler's Life YouTube page. So we're going to have a live stream tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and with a special guest, Scott Thorton from ProtoThrottle. So the reason I'm doing this introduction is because the next thing you're going to hear is the interview I did with Michael Petersen and a little bit of Scott Thornton at the Springfield Amherst Railway Show Train Event thing, biggie stuff. In West Springfield, everybody in West Springfield, they're very particular that you say West Springfield, Massachusetts. Okay, so that's it. It's our live stream tonight. Tune in, ask your questions of Scott, have fun. That's all I get to now. It's the interview from Springfield, and I guess I'll be back at the end to give you the website and the email address, like I'm supposed to. Subway chime, go. Okay, now I'm, what building are we in?
The Stroh building.
The Stroh building. We're now in the Stroh building, and we're at let's stand over here, Michael. We'll stand like right about here so that we're kind of out of the way. We're in the Spring Creek model, what do they call them?
Spring Creek model trains.
Spring Creek model trains, and these are a traveling roadshow guys. They have a huge booth. They go to every train show on the planet. And this is where you have I'm with Michael Petersen of ProtoThrottle. And this is where you're selling your product.
Yes.
And you've got a huge crowd going now.
It's pretty good. Yeah.
Has it been busy all day?
This morning it wasn't all that busy, but it's definitely picked up now.
All right. And how do you think the train show's been all told?
Good. We've talked to a lot of people, sold a few, but talked to a lot of people, got it in their hands.
Yeah.
Which is the big thing about the throttle. People just need to use it.
Yeah. Once they use it, they're like hooked.
Yeah, they're hooked.
So, okay, this is we've talked on a podcast that Scott organized.
Yep.
I don't know what it was about. It was a ProtoThrottle review or something. And now you and I have never talked by ourselves without Scott being involved. He's nearby. He's out there now flogging the product. And he's saying, go ahead, operate it. But, okay, so this is, I like your lanyards, too. They're pretty cool.
Here, have one.
Ooh, now we're getting something.
You get our last one.
I'm getting some swag. There, you hold on under. Thanks, Jordan. All right, tell me all about this deal. What happened here? How did this come about? Are you exhausted from making it or what?
Not yet. It really came about with Scott seeing the video online of someone building a throttle around their NCE throttle, and then he came to us and asked. We're getting a picture taken.
Yeah, he's
now.
taking. But we can still talk while he's taking our picture.
He came to Nathan and I with Iowa Scaled Engineering and asked, "Can you build one of these for me?" And we thought it was just going to be a one-off product. And then as we went through the process of designing it and figuring out how to build it, decided, well, this is a product.
Right. Okay. So how did you and Nathan get started with Iowa Scaled Engineering? Which, of course, I'm assuming is located in what town in Iowa?
It's in Colorado.
Of course it is.
Of course.
Whereabouts in Colorado are you?
I'm in Elbert, Colorado. It's between Colorado Springs and Denver.
Okay.
Nathan lives in Colorado Springs.
Okay. So one day, the two of you guys, obviously you were friends of some sort?
Yeah, we were friends from college.
Okay. So you guys decided, hey, let's start a company, but let's not call it anything but Colorado. Let's just throw a dart at the map and we'll call it that state.
We're both native Iowans.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. And then that's I get it.
Yeah.
So all right. So Scott comes to you. This thing has taken the world by storm. You realize that, right?
Well, oh, sure.
It is. You must know by now that the model railroading world is thrilled with this thing.
Yeah, there's a lot of people definitely interested in it, and the wheels are turning, and they want it.
Right. And you've sold, so you started actually selling it, what, last June?
Yeah, we started pre-orders, I think, in April, and then kicked off our first production run. I believe we started shipping, I believe it was the end of June when we started shipping.
Right. So it hasn't been a whole year yet.
Yep.
And as of right this moment, you've sold how many?
Right around 320.
So as of this moment, in less than a year, you've sold 320 of these in less than a year. Okay. Then you're on your way to 500. So how long did it take you to develop it?
I think it was about a year and
Stand
a half,
over here.
probably.
So what does
part-time,
Nathan do?
but-
What does Nathan do, and what do you do when it comes to this sort of thing?
Yeah, so the ProtoThrottle is mainly my product.
Okay.
Did the hardware design and did the firmware design. For most of our products, we kind of, whoever has the idea pretty much develops it and then runs with it.
Now, how many products do you guys have now?
I couldn't tell you off the top of my head.
No, you can tell me. It's all right. It's not a secret. People will want to know.
Yeah, there's 5 or 6 active products.
Yeah.
That we sell.
And would you say the company's doing better than you had hoped? You guys obviously started it as a kind of a hobby.
It's a hobby, a side project. Yeah. Definitely with the ProtoThrottle, that has made things a lot better.
Yeah. Yeah, because you sell it for how much?
It's $482 for the throttle.
Okay.
And then $99 for a receiver that goes on the layout.
And what is the throttle costing you to build? About $60?
A little bit more than that. Just a little bit more than that.
So
no, over half of it is actual cost out the door.
Yeah. So one of the things that makes it so good is the quality of the product. Like, do you guys, that's a big thing, quality of product. Mm-hmm. You know, it's like the difference between buying a Chevy Impala and buying a Lexus. Well, it is.
Sure.
I mean, quality of product is huge. And I guess my question is, were you guys cognizant of that as you were building it, that you wanted a durable, solid...
Yes. Yeah. Scott really drove a lot of that. He did the faceplate design, and he was really pushing for the making a high-quality product. And so we wanted to make something that wasn't a commodity, wasn't cheap. We wanted it to be top of the line, something that people will appreciate having.
Okay. Can you tell us, last night you came to the Modeler's Life dinner. How did that go?
It's good.
Yeah?
It was fun.
All right. One of your more enjoyable events of the weekend?
Yeah.
All right, perfect. And you were explaining to us about outsourcing, or what open source.
Yes.
And I thought that was really interesting. Do you think you could sort of explain that to the listeners, what open source, why you went with open source? Because every time, many times I'll be with people talking about it, and they're going, well, it's all open source. So, somebody else is going to build this right away.
Yeah.
And your explanation was excellent. Let's continue to move out of the fray here. Yeah. So anyways, explain to me in layman's terms, open source like you did last night.
Well, we make all the design files available. They're on our website. You could, if you wanted to, go out and build your own.
Right.
The idea, though, is that we encourage people to take the design to improve upon it, but as part of the open source license and philosophy, they're also expected to contribute it back.
Right.
So if they make a change to it, we can always benefit from it ourselves. But the whole idea is that it with the community contributing, it makes a better product overall.
Right.
And we all benefit from it.
And you were describing with Microsoft, and somebody else was describing it to me, with just because they take your product, if they improve it, they have to put it back into open source.
Yeah, they have to make it available open source, which means we can benefit from their improvements too.
Right.
And so, yeah.
So a big company like Model Rectifier wouldn't do it because they wouldn't want to make it. They would want to make it proprietary, and that's difficult for what reason was it? Well, you were saying that making it proprietary is much more costly. No?
I don't remember that.
All right. So there's a plus, but there's a plus for doing it open source.
We think so. It allow, for one, it if we ever go under, we decide we're not doing this anymore, the designs are all out there. Someone else can take it, fix it, improve upon it, continue the product.
Okay.
So for the consumer, it provides some assurance of sustainability, I guess.
Okay. Maybe this question. Can a private manufacturer just take your open source and all of a sudden call it theirs?
They could start making it. They can't use our ProtoThrottle name. That's trademarked.
Right.
Yeah, theoretically they could, but there's a lot of behind-the-scenes manufacturing effort involved in this. So they would still have to make a pretty sizable investment.
Right. Okay. So open source is available. Doesn't mean necessarily it's just have at it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we're not worried about it. So.
No, exactly. And somebody, maybe it was Joe, Boston Joe, that was explaining it to me. Because the way I understood it was, I think he was describing with Microsoft that they've made a lot of their products now open source, but you can take it, you can use it, but you can't, if you change it, you have to make them aware of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, cool. All right, so how long does it take you to make one of these puppies?
When we were in full production mode last summer, I think we were at about 5 or 6 an hour. It takes longer it would take probably like 5 hours to do that chunk. I think total from beginning to end.
So it takes like 5 hours, man hours to build one.
To build 5 or 6. So,
okay.
Or whatever that. I did the math wrong there. So
yeah, you
whatever.
did.
It's 5 or 6 an hour.
Yeah. You'd have no idea what you're doing here.
No, I don't.
All right. What else can we ask you about this? Are you excited about it? Like, are you as excited about it as everybody else seems to be?
I think it's great. It's the only way I'm going to go on my layout.
Yeah.
I was.
Like, do you get a sense of how excited the model railroad community is about it?
To an extent. when you're at a show all day talking to people and saying the same thing over and over and over again, you get it every once in a while. You get the guy that comes along and you see the spark in his eye and you realize, this is something.
All right. And how about have you had any problems? Have any of them come back or anything?
We've had a receiver or two that something happened to them. We don't really know what happened, but we sent them a new one and replaced it.
But the box
the
itself?
throttle itself, I don't think we've had any actually come back on that.
All right.
We had a few of the handles come a little loose in shipping, but that's part of just learning how to manufacture it and how to check things before they go out the door. So.
And do they come with a warranty?
Yeah. We'll fix it. Just talk to us and send it back, and we'll fix it.
Is it like a lifetime warranty, a 1-year warranty?
I think technically it's a 1-year warranty, but we'll honor it.
Yeah, exactly.
We want the customer to be happy.
Yeah, it's a new experience for you to manufacture something as popular as this. So maybe we should get Scott in here now, should we?
Sure.
All right. All right, come here, Scott. All right.
Hi.
Hi, Scott. How are you?
I'm good.
Okay, now.
Have you recovered from your wonderful award?
Oh yeah, I got an award last night at the dinner, the Top Dog Award. That was great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was a beautiful award. So, how many have you sold today?
I think we've sold 2, right? Or 1 today. 2.
Yeah.
We've got quite a few modelers right on the edge.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So you sold a bunch this weekend again?
Yes, but they won't. So those modelers have not jumped over the edge. They need to jump over the edge, take the plunge.
Yeah, but it's because it's different, and there's a bit of cost involved, but not much more than buying a high-end locomotive.
Correct. That's correct.
And people are loving it. I mean, we're standing here now, and there's what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now, there's almost a dozen people around here looking and playing with this thing.
Yeah.
They're going nuts for this thing.
It comes in waves.
Yeah.
And we love it.
Oh, you must do. So how many do you hope to sell, Scott?
Oh, gosh. do you think I'll sell 400?
I was just talking to Blaine Hatfield, who is the owner of Arrowhead Models. They make cars, freight cars.
Yes, I've seen it. They're beautiful.
And of course, the story came up because I was asking. They've only released 1 car.
Right. They're hopper.
They've just started, and I said, "When do you expect to send your release your next car, and he says, well, he's hoping for the summer and blah blah blah. And then I started to tell him everything in my life now revolves around the Scott Thornton story.
Yes. Yeah. You're making me famous.
Yeah, and in a couple
Infamous.
and in a couple of days you're going to be on our live stream.
Yes, that'll be a lot of
It
fun.
will be a lot of fun. So what has this weekend done for you? Because last year you weren't here at Springfield like this.
This
you?
is my first time.
Yeah.
And everything that you told me and others told me was absolutely true. That it was a little overwhelming at first because there's so much here.
9
to see.
acres. 9
Yes.
acres.
But as I roamed around aimlessly, I stumbled across a couple vendors that were wonderful. And I got their cards, and I'm going to go back and I'm going to purchase things from them.
Okay. What are you going to purchase?
Well, there's one vendor who makes laser kits, and I need to have a specific depot. So I'm gonna talk to him about helping me do a custom model for my depot.
All right.
And then there's another guy. He's a designer like me, professionally, and he makes these absolutely gorgeous kits. But he also does CNC'd. How do you describe it? Like little neon signs.
Oh,
And I
okay.
thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
I'm going to get one for the railroad I'm modeling.
All right.
And they weren't that expensive. They were like $30 or $40. So it's just a novelty thing that was really, really neat.
Yeah.
So you find people like that who do
yeah.
new and interesting things. So
How many throttles do you have here for people to use?
we have 2 throttles to use and one as a static for people to hold.
Okay. And you have one with a clear back on it.
We have 2 with the clear back so that they could see the internal workings of how the throttle was engineered.
And it's made with such quality. That's the thing. I was talking to Michael about that. You guys, quality is huge. Like, I mean,
Yes.
it's the difference between a Chevy Cruze and a Lexus.
Yes. Absolutely.
Oh, but I mean,
And you drive the Lexus, right?
possibly.
Yeah.
But you guys, that's to me is what's selling this thing is the quality of it.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, we think so too.
Yeah.
And that's why we approached it that way. We wanted to build a quality unit that would last and people would enjoy. That's why we did, rather than some plastic components, we have an anodized aluminum faceplate. So
Right. Oh, and I know
it
it's
look more realistic.
I know I was going to talk to you. Give the mic back to Michael there for a
back
minute.
to Michael.
Come on over here. I want to know what I want to talk to you about. I wanted to publicly thank you because you and Scott are going to donate 2 of your throttles to raise money for my foundation.
Yeah, that's the plan. We're going to weather them up, make them look all nasty, and then auction them off.
That is very cool, and I am very, very appreciative of that. And because the money goes to help the mental health side of having cancer.
Yeah.
Which is, to me, the worst part of the whole
I got to imagine, yeah.
Yeah, and it's the one part that gets the least amount of money, so that's how I got hooked onto that. So I wanted to publicly thank you, Michael.
You're welcome.
For doing that. That is very, very cool. Who came up with that idea? You.
Actually, I think it may have been Nathan who had that
Nathan.
idea.
Way to
Yeah.
go, Nathan. How come he won't talk to me?
I don't know.
Is he basically just dead weight? Is Nathan just
Oh,
basically...
no.
So what are you going to model?
I am designing a layout based around the Iowa Interstate in Altoona, Iowa.
Okay.
That's where I grew up.
Yep.
And so I've got a plan in the works. I started building it a few years ago. Then the ProtoThrottle interrupted that, but I'm trying to get back into it now and revising my original plans and
Right.
hopefully get something going.
And ProtoThrottle takes up a lot of your time?
Not now so much. It's a lot better.
Yeah.
We found kind of a pace and
Right. Just the manufacturing of it now is really what...
yeah.
Yeah. I
And
mean,
support and customer support. There's questions that come up. How do I do this? How do I make
and
this work?
who wrote your instructions? Because they're awesome.
That was Scott.
Okay, let's not go down that road.
I think I wrote the initial draft and then he made them all pretty.
Oh my goodness gracious! I don't like to encourage Scott at all. That always makes me nervous when we say Scott did something good.
Yeah, there's a lot of no, Scott, we can't do that.
Yeah, tell me some of those stories. Come on back over here. We keep wandering out into the main drag here. Yeah. So tell me, how did you guys meet?
So when Nathan and I first started Iowa Scaled Engineering, we decided we needed to advertise. And so I made some pretty lame attempts at making ads for MRH. And I think ultimately Scott took pity on us. He's a graphic designer by trade. And
right.
So he offered to do some ads for us in exchange for some products that he needed. And it just grew from there.
And then he started coming up with all these products. Like one was you have a cloud.
We built a cloud simulator for him. It controls 2 banks of lights in a random fashion and makes it look like clouds are moving. And we got a couple other things that we're looking at doing.
Okay, 2 things I have to say to you, then I'll let you go because the crowds are building again. Like, look at this. It's just a crowd of people operating trains using your throttles. You must have some sense of what you've done here. Well, it's like the product. When I first met him at the RPM meet in Chicago, ESU and Soundtracks were fighting over this guy. He's with me. No, he's with me. He's with me. No, he's with me. And I couldn't even get him, and he's like, I don't know if we'll sell any of these. It was very confusing for me. It was my first real road trip trying to do interviews, and I'm like, this is just a disaster. I had a good question. What was it? All right, we talked about, the cloud simulator.
Yeah.
So what is it? So what? The guy calls you up and goes, can you simulate clouds? And you're like, well, if you went outside.
No, he had an idea. He has 2 light circuits on the layout, and he had the idea that if you could control the intensity of them independently and randomly, that it might look like clouds moving over the layout. And so I mocked up a circuit that did that, and sure enough, it works.
So So your background, your education is in
electrical engineering.
All right, and your interest is like developing things or working with things that already exist. Like, what's your job?
My job is in the IC industry, designing chips, integrated circuits.
How do you do that?
Carefully.
Does somebody come to you with an idea?
Yeah.
Like a cloud simulator?
A lot of the ideas do come from customers. They have a problem to solve, and so we...
Yeah?
If it's solvable through an IC design, we'll...
Okay. Can you give me an idea of a customer outside of model railroading, an idea somebody came to you with?
You mean in terms of with Iowa Scaled?
Or? No, without your day job.
Oh, in the day job.
I guess it's a cottage industry so far. So far, Iowa Scaled engineering is on a cottage industry.
Yes.
Right?
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah. But eventually you're going to have a 30,000 square foot warehouse.
In your building there in Tennessee, right?
Yeah. So what's an idea? What's a product that somebody might come to you in your full-time job?
Yeah, we do a lot with power supplies.
Okay.
So maybe a power supply for a computer.
Okay.
Or some piece of electronic equipment.
All right. Okay. I'm going to just keep torturing you to death for years and years and years until I get to the bottom of this. Look at these guys. Look at these guys running it, too.
Yep.
Everybody comes by and is running. How do people react to the price?
Some are just fine with it, shockingly.
I understand. Yeah.
Others, that you can tell it's a sticker shock.
Right.
But, I think it's really fun to watch the guys who walk up and say it's too expensive. Then you put the throttle in their hand, and then they walk away buying one.
Yeah. And how many did you bring with you?
I think Spring Creek had 20 or so.
Okay. And how many will you make at a time?
10 to 20 in a batch. We can typically get that done in a decent evening.
All right. All right. And then hopefully someday Nathan will talk to me.
Yeah.
He never comes to any of the shows. Does he even exist?
Yes, he exists.
You got a picture?
He was at Train Fest.
Do you have a picture of him on your phone?
I don't think so, actually.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Okay, we're getting out the phone now. We're opening it up.
He's going to kill me.
We're seeing if...
I don't know if I have one.
No, he's gone to Google to see if he's...
We may not have one on our site anymore.
Well, yeah, not on your... No, there's nothing on your site. You guys are incognito.
Yeah.
There's a drawing.
Nope, we don't have a picture on there.
Yeah. Do you have one on your phone? Like, do you guys go...
No.
Well, because all you got to do is, like, Here, I'll show you how this happens. Let's change places. There's dead air right now as we're doing this. Well, this will all be edited out. See, at some point, if Nathan actually existed and you guys were buddies, this would have happened. Hey, now I have a picture.
There you go.
Of you on my phone.
There you go.
And that's what happens. All right, so you don't have a picture of
No,
Nathan
I
on your
don't.
phone because he doesn't exist.
Apparently.
Because at no time did you guys bond enough to go, hey, Nathan, let's take a picture. All right, that's it. I've bothered you enough. We'll stop now. You have one job. You listen to the podcast, don't you?
Yes.
And how did you find it?
When you first interviewed Scott, he said, hey, listen to this podcast over here because I'm being interviewed. And so I listened, I got hooked, and just have been listening since.
All right, so the job you have now is you got to say, subway chime, go.
Okay.
But you got to say it with enthusiasm.
All right.
Go.
Subway chime, go.
I said with enthusiasm.
Subway chime, go.
Okay, so there you go. It's the interview from Springfield, Massachusetts, the Amherst Railroad Big E show in West Springfield, Massachusetts. And that was our buddies Michael Petersen and Scott Thornton of ProtoThrottle. And tonight, on January 31st, 2019, at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Scott Thornton will be on our live stream, our second live stream, taking your questions and saying hi and doing all that sorts of cool stuff. So thank you very much. Thanks for coming out. Our email address is modelerslife@gmail.com. That's modelers with one L, like Atlas, not two L's, like lifelike. We have a website, modelerslife.com. You go there, you'll find links to our Facebook page and all sorts of other stuff. And remember, a modeler's life is considered marginally adequate by 6 out of 10 TV technicians.